Hello there, and welcome to another edition of the HuskerOnline Show. Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washett, back from Las Vegas, and Steve Sipple's first trip to Vegas since 1987. A lot has changed.
Yeah, I was impressed. Very impressed.
We're going to get into that, but before we get into Big Ten Media Days and all the activities in Vegas, the show brought to you by Zipline. And I want to tell you, this Friday, they've got a new beer release. A new beer releases nearly every week in August. Check in for a refreshing Good Life Ale, which is dropping at all Zipline locations this Friday. And if you are in West Lincoln, the taproom will have the Meta Modern BBQ food truck all night as well. This small batch release will only be available in taprooms for a limited time. Then all those rich and refreshing autumn releases will start to drop shortly thereafter. I can see Robin shaking his head in great excitement over there.
Eyeballing that golden ale. I like golden ales. Just nice.
Like
Sometimes you don't always need an 8% IPA, or a big stout. Sometimes a nice, refreshing golden ale, especially a small batch release.
So that's on the tap only, no cans.
Yes. So you got to go into the room and the port right there for you.
All right.
Okay.
Well, guys, let's get into Las Vegas. We got a lot to cover from Big Ten Media Days, from Commissioner Tony Petitti, from Nebraska, from other coaches we heard from in the Big Ten. But Sip, it was your first trip to Vegas since 1987. We stayed at the lovely Aria Hotel, which was about a mile from the location. But first of all, unbelievable setup we had this week in Vegas, highlighted by our dinner at the Golden Steer Steakhouse on Tuesday night.
That was a highlight. By the way, we'll talk about our activities in Vegas. You could sell to your wives that way. We're going to Las Vegas. We have some activities planned. That sounds. That's a
good start.
Yeah, we have some activities planned.
But Cherry's Jubilee on camera right now, by the way.
Oh, by the way, yeah, the Golden Steer. You guys, I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's first of all, I always. Why is it? Why am I in that picture?
Just look how excited you are.
I always feel a little like hesitant to go too far into this because I almost feel like we're bragging, but it's spectacular. So you guys are young. How old are you, Rob?
42.
44.
You may not get a better experience than this the rest of your lives. You understand?
It's up there.
It's top 2 or 3. I mean, I always hate to call a number 1.
Right. But like the X factor for this place. So like the steak and the food was all really good. I'll say their Caesar salad. They do that table side where they like make the dressing from scratch. I feel comfortable saying that was the best salad I've ever had in my life.
Did you catch any of the ingredients?
Kind of.
Anchovy paste, garlic.
Yeah. It was like all the
Worcestershire sauce.
But they make it right there, right off the table, and just phenomenal. But the thing that was the separator from the Golden Steer to like other really good steakhouses that we've had is just the history of that place. So like you look around, the room we were in was the original main dining room. They've since expanded and added different parts to the restaurant. But where we were sitting, you knew that like Muhammad Ali had a booth there, booth 7. And so we talked to the waiter, and he's like, "Oh yeah, over there in the corner, that was booth 7. That's where Muhammad Ali sat. You go over there, that's Elvis's booth. Over there, Marilyn Monroe sat there. Joe DiMaggio sat over there. The Rat Pack, Frank Sinatra, they were in the private room back there. It's like, holy cow." I mean, there's like original gold records from Elvis's estate hanging on the wall.
For a year, they get that gold record.
So like that part of it, just like knowing how much of American pop culture history happened in that small space where we were sitting, just added to the whole ambience of the whole thing.
And Sipple and I, we split it was a tomahawk ribeye for 2.
Okay, you're okay with the man card discussion here?
Well, it was a 45-ounce steak, counting the bone.
It was hefty.
Didn't seem that.
The bone. I mean, the bone probably took up like over 20 ounces of weight. I mean, it was heavy.
You guys took care of it without much problem.
It wasn't even hard.
But then it came with 2 salads, which we divided up into 4 because the salads were so big, and then it came with 2 sides. So it was a good way to do it.
Golden Steer is about as good as it's going to get. I mean, it just delivers on every level.
There's that tomahawk.
Everything from the start of you had those old fashions.
Those old fashions were phenomenal.
Were perfect. I'd say they're perfect old fashions. You're walking into a place where, now listen, this is why I like it, because it feels like 1979. better times and way better. And you saw like the best people watching, I think, was at Golden Steer. I mean, Las Vegas is a great people watching place. And I thought the best, just looking at the makeup of the couples was interesting, you know.
Some interesting dynamics.
Right. So that everything about it was, to me was, I just don't know if it's going to get any better than that. That's
It'll be hard to beat.
Yeah, it'd be hard to beat that.
And we got pretty fortunate to get a reservation. We put it
How'd you do it, by the way?
in April.
But how did you go?
I went on the web. I mean, you just have to do it early enough in advance. But you know,
how soon after you found out that we were going to Vegas for Big Ten Media Days did you jump on this?
It was the first thing I did.
He's like still on the phone, typing it in.
How did you know though? How did you know to go to Golden Steer?
I've seen enough about it, and just that it's a place that you want to go, and a place that I've always wanted to go after seeing the video about going to Vegas, and I've heard it was the hardest place to get into in Vegas. And so, like Damon Benning, our colleague with the Husker Radio Network, he tried to get in, and he couldn't get in. He tried every day for months. He said,
"Really?"
So we got a little lucky.
Yeah,
we did. That was the highlight for me.
I like to call it skill.
It was a highlight
because it did kick off with Commissioner Tony Petitti, and we're going to get into Matt Rhule all segment 2. But the big thing we learned is Tony Petitti is not going to back down from the automatic qualifier position that he's in. He's not really worried about if the SEC, the scheduling metrics, like he's not going to say everyone needs to play 9. Everyone needs to do what's best for them is what he said. But you get the sense he's not going to back down on his playoff model. And if it means staying at 12 like it is now, they're going to stay at 12.
Yeah. So he likes the 4 automatic qualifiers that's attached to the Big Ten. So it's 4 Big Ten, 4 SEC, 2 ACC, 2 Big 12, 1 group of 6 team, and then 3 at-larges. He wants that model. I mean, it's a tough stance to take. He's getting a lot of pushback. I mean, I saw Pat Forty pretty much hammered.
Well, and Stuart Mandel tried to take him on the podium.
Right. And these guys are saying this is not best for college football. And a lot of the holdup on that is something that I don't feel comfortable at all. Just I hope you guys understand with the artificial nature of automatic qualifiers. I just don't. I don't handing out 4 before anybody plays a game just feels rigged. I mean, it's like a rigged system. Mm-hmm. If I was a team in any other conference in the SEC or Big Ten, I'd be like, oh, this is rigged up pretty well for you guys to make a lot of money. Thanks. So I don't know. I'm not. I see that, but I do see the benefits of 4.
They're always going to get 4, though. You don't think in a 16-team playoff the Big Ten wouldn't just get 4 anyway?
I just don't like handing things out.
Should they? I mean, like with all the discussion about the power imbalance in college football right now between those 2 leagues and everybody else, like they're playing a different season than any other conference. Like their degree of difficulty from week to week, especially the Big Ten playing 9 conference games, like should there be an inherent reward with that, or just like a acceptance that these leagues are different than the ACC and the Big 12? And why should the Big 12, who's playing a weaker conference schedule, be put on the same playing field as the SEC Big Ten?
Well, I don't know. Then are you just getting further down the road of just breaking it off?
And I think I personally think that's inevitable.
Well, the SEC and the Big Ten already have total control. All the other leagues have so
I get that.
The Big 12 and the ACC have 0 say. It will be the SEC and the Big Ten that decide.
I get it. I get all that. I just don't know if that's the great. I mean, it sounds like you guys are okay with the SEC.
Well, the SEC wants more than 4.
It sounds like it. Correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like you're okay with the SEC and the Big Ten just breaking off.
Yeah,
I'm not. That's not college football.
I mean, what is it now? Like, is the sport?
Well, I'd like to bring it back
the way that you wanted
Rob,
it.
I'd like to reel it back. I mean,
that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. I mean, we're living in the realistic.
There's no
world
turning
here.
back.
No, I'm living in a realistic.
Pandora's box is open.
I mean, I get your big money flex all the time, and to you, college football is all about money. To me, it's not. I mean, it's not. It's not just who has the most money. If that's what it is, then
you don't
sort of unappealing.
You don't think that's what it is?
I do, but it's always been that way to a certain
money
extent.
has never defined the sport more than it does right now.
I know, which is unappealing.
I know.
Thank you.
How do you go back? I'm not saying I like it. I'm saying I'm
Well,
accepting
thank you for
it.
saying that.
I'm accepting it.
I've accepted it and like, all right, let's figure out the best path forward.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because it's
All
not
right.
going to be
Well, I don't think
1990 again.
I don't
Like,
think necessarily what Petiti spells out's the best path forward. And I'm not alone. Trust me. He got a lot of pushback.
I like the idea.
And I'm not
though-
going to sit here just because I cover a Big Ten team and be a honk for the Big Ten. I'm not doing that.
The play-in game weekend, though, does intrigue me.
I like that.
I like the idea of play-in weekends where
I like that part.
the SEC and the Big Ten would have 3 playing games. I read something where the Big 12 and ACC could have 2. And so you'd almost create more inventory of value. And then you can schedule as aggressive as you want if you have
How about
auto bids.
everybody do it? That's what I'd like.
Well, that's the whole problem, is that no one's playing the same scheduling game right now, where everybody's doing their different thing, even between the SEC, Big Ten. Like, that's a big issue right now, where if you're trying to apply the same postseason rules to everyone in college football, when the regular season format is so different from league to league, that's a problem. Like, you're not going to get any uniformity that applies to every single conference, because every single conference is doing something
I
different.
understand the issues. I mean, completely.
But Matt Rhule agreed. Like, Matt Rhule likes the playoff format or the play-in format. He said as much. He likes it's
good for Nebraska.
The closest to the NFL model, he agrees with. And
That's debatable, but it's good for Nebraska.
I just don't like the committee aspect of giving the committee so much more power.
I'm over committees.
Like creating confusing strength of record and strength of schedule formulas. And let's just say what it is. It's the SEC wanting to try to create a formula that favors them. Like
So is the Big Ten's doing the same.
Well, no, they want to create the strength of record, metric, all these things that help them out, because we have better recruiting classes or this and that. So our teams are better, and we're going to create like a formula that says we get more teams in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they want. And they want more than 4. That's really what it comes down to, which they could. But does a conference really need more than 5 teams in the playoff?
I don't know.
Like, is the 6th place?
Oh, I'm not suggesting that I think that 5-11 is this perfect system. I don't. But none is.
Yeah, there is no such thing.
Yeah. No, there's no. And I share your concern about the committee having 11 spots to consider. I mean, come on. I don't know what that's going to look like. But I don't know. I'm still skeptical of the whole thing.
Well, even the committee on that side of it, like there will be some jockeying going on with rate polls where, like, let's say a group of 5 team is positioned well. All of a sudden, like on that last poll, oh God, but they drop down to 18 or they drop down to 15. So they're out, like, because some Big 12 5th place or Big 10 5th place team jumped them. I mean, and that's what I don't like about the committee, that they can do that.
Yeah.
Like they
problem.
can derail like Tulane or somebody like that who's in the position where there's a metric now in place where the committee can't do that.
Well, here's what I like about five. Now, you guys can, with all these things, you can sort of take it apart. But I like the 5 conference champions being guaranteed. That's the most appealing thing to me about 5+11. The conference championship still means a lot. And I like that college football world where if you're a conference champion, you're in and you're a high seed.
I'm kind of to the point where I would do away with conference championships and just go to play-ins. I like the play-in format. I think and sure, you can make the argument it's all about TV. Like, it's just ratings. It's a ratings grab. And sure, it is, because it's fun. People want to watch it. It's entertaining. The sport is supposed to be fun and entertaining.
It is, and I like the play-in thing too. Now, Iowa would have been in last year.
Sure. Why not?
Not very good. They weren't very good, but that's the kind of the idea, though. I'm sure coaches like that, because if you finish 6th in your league,
keeps you relevant.
Yeah, you're not that good. You can still make.
Indiana would have had to play a tougher game to close out the year. Yes, they were hard to get a read on because Ohio State was the only major in-season game they played in terms of a high-ranked team.
I get it. But Iowa would have been in last year. That's Iowa. Wow. But whatever. I mean, I'm not. Hey, I get it. I get both sides of it, though. I don't. I'll be interested to see how this unfolds.
Yep.
Petiti was really good. I will say that. Petiti was strong at the podium, and he was really strong once he got off the teleprompter. Once he started fielding questions. Yeah, once he started fielding questions, he was really good.
All right, when we come back, I want to get into what Matt Rhule had to say at Big Ten Media Days. You're listening here to the Husker Online Show. And we're back here on the Husker Online Show. Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washett. Again, we're brought to you by Zipline, title sponsor of the show. Get out to the Tap and Grill every Friday. They have live music on Friday and Saturday, as well as brunch on Sunday. They feature prime rib on both Friday and Saturday night as well. And their cedar plank salmon is amazing and has been selling like crazy. Again, that's Zipline's Tap and Grill out in Fallbrook. We're also brought to you by Billings Group. They're a trio of financial advisors made up of Lance and his two sons-in-law, Josh and Nate. They're based in Salina, Kansas, and they help clients across the Midwest and beyond make smart, confident decisions about their money. From your first real paycheck to your final retirement party, Billings Group is here to walk you through the highs and the lows. Billings Group, financial advisors by your side for life's journey. Visit them at billingsgroup.com. Securities offered by registered representatives through client private services, member FIRNA SIPC. Advisory services offered by investment advisory representatives through RFG Advisory, a registered investment advisor. RFG Advisory, Billings Group, and client private services are unaffiliated entities.
Whew. Traveling.
Gosh dang.
Sorry.
I want to say it's supposed to be private client services, and I keep wanting to say client private services.
It's okay.
You're too much time in Vegas.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, let's get into Matt Rhule.
Matt Rhule,
the head coach in Nebraska, and what he had to say. You know, I think a lot of things jumped out. Clearly, the question you asked him, Sipple, on Tuesday was probably the biggest story locally. Just that Rhule backed Scott Frost to a level where, you know, he said, yeah, Scott Frost was right. The job wasn't a good job when he first got here.
Yeah, there was a level of empathy that Rhule showed Frost that I think was surprising to some people. They're both 50 years old, by the way. They've both been fired, and both in real rough circumstances. I'm still unpacking that whole thing in my brain. Where he was coming from on it, what the motivation was, the fact that he laid out that they have this big picture of Frost in the coach's headquarters. That he made sure to share that, juxtapose that against the feeling in the fan base after what Frost said at the Big 12. I really admire Matt because I mean he's going against the grain,
big time.
Yeah. So but here's the other thing that I wanted to get your guys' reaction to. I hadn't exactly been reporting or talking about Nebraska as a substandard program when Rhule took the job. I almost feel like was I deficient in that way? Like I wasn't saying Nebraska's got all these shortcomings that Rhule laid out. What was your thoughts on that?
Well, I go back to 2019. Okay. This is a team that was picked to win the Big Ten West. They're ranked. They had Adrian Martinez. They had NFL draft pick Cam Jurgens at center. They had McCaffrey, a draft pick. They had Wan'Dale Robinson, a draft pick. I mean, they had a team in 2019 with material. Okay. And it just didn't work out.
2019. Okay. So what happened from 2019 to 2022?
Well, COVID. The COVID year kind of derailed a lot of the season. And then 2021, they played the toughest schedule probably in our lifetimes in terms of a regular season schedule, where 8 of the 12 opponents on Nebraska's schedule were 9 games or better winners. And they lost all those games.
Okay, but what about what Rhule said about the practice field substandard, playing surface substandard, sports nutrition substandard, NIL not up to par? I'd never really. I hate to say it, but I never really reported that stuff.
But how would you know?
Yeah, that's like kind of behind the door, closed doors stuff that was probably not put out there for a reason.
But what about all those ACLs?
Yeah,
49 in 4 years.
49 knee injuries.
49 knee injuries and 24 major ACLs.
I mean, it all makes sense now, but like at the time, I'm with you. Like, I don't think anybody maybe understood the degree in which Nebraska was falling behind in those types of things. Because you always think of Nebraska, the on the field product is what it is, but the facilities were already always top notch. We always had the best things, and it turns out they didn't.
They didn't.
That was pretty surprising.
They went 9 years in the stadium without changing the field turf.
Yeah, that turf was rough.
Like
we talk about that.
I mean, it got to the point where the red on that final, it was turning pink and purple. They put in that turf,
right?
I want to say in 2014
Mm-hmm.
or 13. It was, and then they played 9 seasons on it, which normally Nebraska was going 7. So they stretched out like the field turf 2 more years in the stadium because of COVID and budget cuts and things they were trying to like be conscious about. But that's a big deal to kind of cut corners on playing surface.
Okay, so there's a playing surface matter. Then there's the NIL component, which I was of the belief that Nebraska was almost on the cutting edge of that, of the NIL.
They were, but the problem still goes back to when Trev Alberts was the AD. He would not really get behind any of it.
There wasn't a unified collective. There's basically 2 different operations.
Right. Okay. So now you're answering these questions for people.
Well, and part of it was because the initial collective was run by Scott Frost's people, and that wasn't going to work with Trev because he didn't want to really make this work. Like he was trying to turn the page.
Yep.
And then what happened when Scott Frost got fired? He immediately announced the Big Red Collaborative. Then what happened about a week or 2 later? 1890 gets announced, and they became the operating collective, or the other collective that Trev tried to launch, never even operated.
God dang it. Just what it underscores to me when you're talking is when you have an AD and a head coach, when an AD has designs on firing a head coach, it's not as simple as he has designs on firing a head coach. It affects a lot of things.
Oh yeah. The ripple effect
is
massive.
Right. And wouldn't you say that ripple effect has held Nebraska back, going back to the ripple effect from Peterson Solich, the ripple effect from Icor's Bow, there's ripple effects that are huge. And that's why the program probably is where it is.
Here's a big one on 1890 when they first launched, they were paying for their own advertising on Husker airwaves and in the stadium.
That's right. I forgot about that.
They were paying for the airtime. It was not like
they were paying.
Peds were paying to advertise the collective, paying the athletes at Nebraska in the stadium.
And then you guys heard Rhule. What I thought was the strongest comment of all was, if it weren't for Tom Pede and Sean Pede's investments this spring, we would be dead. Dead. He said dead. And Sean, what's he talking about? Investments this spring, just play in players?
Yeah, I mean, just paying the bill essentially, because Nebraska's got people that support the program with money.
Other than the P.
They don't have many whales. That's what they call them, whales. Like Texas Tech has got a whale in a billionaire oil guy. Like the Maryland, the $10 million check that one of their whales. Like the Peds are Nebraska's whale, and they don't have any others.
None other?
Not at the billion. I mean, there's other emerging people, I would say, that support the program at a high level, but not at this level. Where their monthly interest is probably enough to pay the bills.
He said they would have been dead.
Yeah.
That's a strong, that's really illuminating.
And Troy Dannon said something similar on Big Red Wrap-Up, where he goes, we would have been on our knees, and I'm not sure we would have been able to get back up
if they didn't have the Pete
to get them through, because the cost to land these players.
Oh, especially when it was full-blown Wild West, like that pre-July 1, like
$10 million for Jeremiah Smith is one of those writers was telling me.
That's insane.
$10 million.
Some of it's Adidas though, and like legitimate NIL that he's already getting from out, not pay for play money. There's other players though that you're essentially doing a pay for play deal. They're not like legit NIL deals.
So what else from Rhule struck you guys? Said right tackle discussion.
Yeah, Tyler Kanak.
Yeah, he just came out and quickly. He said it very quickly, but he said Tyler Kanak will start out on Monday is when they start as a starting right tackle. That was very illuminating.
It was, because that answered a lot of questions, because now all of a sudden Henry Lutovsky's now the front runner at left guard.
He's the left guard, right?
Yeah. I think that he can play, but I asked him point blank, and he's like, I'm left guard right now. I prefer left guard.
So we're getting clarity there. Like we kind of had some assumptions, but now like it's a pretty clear picture.
Yep, it is.
But Teddy Prohaska is still in there. Gunnar Gatula.
Those are the principles right
Turner
there.
Corcoran not 100% yet.
No, and Rhule said it still could be a while before he's 100%. So questions around his availability, at least at this point entering fall camp.
God, that right tackle. I know it doesn't sexy, but the right tackle competition that'll be a huge story.
Bryce Benhart like it or not, he played and started the most games in program history on the offensive line
at right tackle.
And he was a right tackle. Right. And so like that is a big hole to fill.
But you know what? I don't think it's a hole. I think they're fine. I just think one of those guys is going to be good, but I think it's going to be a fierce August competition. Fierce. Because what I'm hearing is Teddy's ready. I mean, this could be quite a story with Teddy.
So you got Canuck, who's the front runner right now, but you got Teddy started multiple games in the Big Ten. Gunnar Gatula started multiple
Gunnar's
games
ready to roll.
10. Like that's talk about the level of depth and competition on the offensive line. Like this is as good as I can remember in at least recent years of Nebraska's offensive line.
Right. Is that right?
When you've got 4 guys battling for, I'll put Corcoran in that discussion, 4 guys battling for that spot. 3 of them have been starters at tackle positions.
Right.
And Canuck has played a little bit at Utah.
Right. So yeah, I just thought what Rob said is exactly right. Clarity. We got some really real clarity. We got clarity on Mosey too.
Yeah, Mosey for sure at running back, and he came to them.
Yeah, before the spring.
Yeah, I like Mosey. I like his attitude, which is I'm trying to win a job. You know,
he wants the ball.
Right.
It's like what can I do to get the ball in my hands? And Nebraska's like, well, how about this? And they love it. I mean, Matt Rhule's comments were pretty notable, where he hyped up Mosey as a guy that even if he's the 4th running back and he can't beat out Ives and Nelson for those backup spots, he's going to play. Like he said, he will play as a true freshman, and they're just going to have to find ways to get him involved in the offense. So it's an intriguing piece back there.
I think when you're paying guys now too, you don't want them to sit.
No.
It costs a lot of money to redshirt guys.
It sure does.
It's not bad. You always say follow the money, Sean. Like whenever I have discussions personnel with Sean, he's always like, follow the money.
You can't like pay guys a bunch of money to come here, then redshirt them all.
No,
I mean,
it's a tricky discussion.
But because either they're going to like look at Williams Winery.
Right.
He redshirted at Missouri as a 5-star. Didn't work out too well in the end. He's at Nebraska now.
Yeah, he's got to have it August.
All right. When we come back, I want to hit more on the topic of the Big Ten in Vegas next. You're listening here to the HuskerOnline Show. We're back here on the HuskerOnline Show. Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washett. Again, brought to you by the title sponsor of Zipline. Try some of their new summer beers that have been out. Can opener, also the hard sodas that both come in, the juice box hard sodas that come in the strawberry and the orange flavors. Outstanding summer beverages while you're outside in the pool or in the garage.
The garage.
It's one of my favorite places.
People drink beer in the garage.
Oh, they sure do.
It's a great American pastime.
It is.
It's an escape.
Yeah.
But try that can opener or the Zipline juice box hard sodas. Thanks to Zipline. We're also brought to you by HelloFresh. And look, it's that time of year. You're trying to cook, do things right, but you're busy. You're going to baseball games. I'm going to be in Fremont all weekend at swim meets.
Oh God.
You're just trying to figure it out. Like, and you don't want to have to drive through a fast food restaurant and call that dinner.
Fremont all week.
You want to get home and say, you know what? We've got 15 or 20 minutes. Let's put together this great meal. HelloFresh does that for you. You pick like, hey, we're going to be gone. We're going to be home for dinner 2 nights this week as a family. You pick out what you want. There's about 50 recipes. You can choose the diet style you want, and they send it right to you. All the produce, the different ingredients, the meats. It comes in a cooler. It's always fresh, never frozen, and it's a lot of fun. And when I make some of these meals, my wife like, "You made this?" I'm like, "Yep, I did."
That's points.
And HelloFresh
that'll help you.
Makes it easier for you. And we've got a great deal. If you've never tried it before at HuskerOnline, we're going to give you 10 free meals with your order here. Simply go to HelloFresh.com/Husker10FM. That F10FM stands for 10 free meals. And you'll also get a free item for life as well. Again, that's HelloFresh.com/Husker10FM for the 10 free meals and a free item in every box. HelloFresh.com/Husker10FM, 1 per box with an active subscription. Free meals are applied as a discount on the first box. New subscribers only, and it varies by plan. Thanks again to HelloFresh for sponsoring us here on the HuskerOnline Show. But guys, I want to get into something that James Franklin said at Big Ten Media Days. He kind of was I think that the time zones or something must have got to James Franklin. He was a little grumpy at the microphone, just opinionated, very negative about being in Las Vegas. And I think it was out of the Big Ten's control first and foremost. Like there was
What's that?
Having the event in Indianapolis this year was not possible because there was a gigantic, I believe it was like a church conference that had everything scheduled 10 years in advance for this event. So the Big Ten had to find a new location, and Chicago would have made sense too, but I think what they needed wasn't available either. So they put a bid into Vegas and moved the event to Vegas, which for us was no big deal at all. We were there in a little over 2 hours.
I mean, it's maybe
We
the
loved
best event town in the world. So like, I get it. Like it made a lot of like logistical sense, and especially when you're in a coast to coast league. Like the Indy does not need to be like the heart of everything just because a faction of schools can drive there and it's convenient for them. Well, you got a whole league now of people coast to coast where it's not convenient. Indy is actually a hard place to get to for a lot of people. So
It is.
I didn't mind Vegas, but some people, including James Franklin, certainly had some grievances to air about it.
Okay. Yeah, and I think what you're expressing is what I feel. I feel some mixed emotions. I loved it. I hope it's there all the time. But I will tell you this: where he's coming from is he was at Vandy in the SEC, and he saw what SEC Media Days was, and it was a mega event. And what he's talking about is what we saw when we went to Chicago to that hotel, and you walked in, and it was Welcome Big Ten. And there are signs all over saying
there's mascots running around and cheerleaders, and bands and fans getting autographs, all that stuff. Like it was an event.
Compare that to what we walked into at Mandalay Bay.
Not a single
Tuesday.
sign.
You didn't even know. There was a point where we were walking in that massive Mandalay Bay where I said to Sean, "Are we at the right place?"
The
here?
Las Vegas Aces game had way more juice than Big Ten Media Days.
See, that's what James is talking about, Sean.
And it's not meant to be a fan event. Is probably,
but it used to be, and I
think
they
used to have the kickoff luncheon,
right? And Big Ten did,
and that was a big deal.
I think they could do something like that again. Just scale it back. I mean, it was like a 2.5, 3 hour deal,
right?
And it got to be kind of a drag. And then you had to like have all the teams there for that one deal. And then after they added Rutgers and Maryland, they went away from doing that.
What I'm trying to get at here is I agree with Franklin. I have mixed emotions because I loved Vegas. I loved having the event there, but I agree with him that it didn't seem big at all, right? It's the magnitude of it.
It was an afterthought in Las
Right.
Vegas. Like if you weren't there specifically for Big Ten Media Days, you had no idea it was happening there.
Franklin doesn't like that in a big picture sense. He sees the SEC and all the attention it gets.
Now he did say too, and I would have loved this. Like the SEC does those spring meetings in May, and he goes, they hold press conferences after every day of spring meetings. I would freaking love that. Like if we could go do our show at the spring meetings and be out there every day. And they do that in the SEC, and the coaches and the ADs all speak at these things every day after the spring meetings. Troy Dannon, I talked to him about, he goes like, yeah, we did the spring meetings, but they literally don't allow media access. Like there's nobody that will talk to the press like after the meetings are over.
Is that a Petiti thing, or did that happen before, like with Delaney?
I don't think that's a Petiti thing.
Okay.
The Big Ten's always been a little dialed back on that spring event, is the way I've seen.
But the SEC uses it as an opportunity to advance the ball.
That's what Franklin's talking about.
Yep.
He said college football is much about perception.
No doubt.
And the SEC plays that game.
They dominate that game.
Do you see that as
It starts with their commissioner.
Right.
Like Paul Feinbaum's doing his show at like Destin during the spring meetings. And
exactly. See, Franklin's wasn't comfortable with walking into Mandalay Bay and very little signage, very little evidence at all that there was a huge event there.
Yeah.
So he's uncomfortable with that. And you know what? In his shoes, I kind of, I see where he's coming from.
I agree with that, but he's talking about like their beat writers couldn't afford to fly to Las Vegas. Like, okay.
Who the hell can afford to get to State College?
Yeah, no kidding.
Come on, but they don't hold the Big Ten Conference Media Days in State College.
Indy was probably more expensive than Las Vegas.
Yeah, our trip to Indy
they can drive it though.
Our trip to Indy was cheaper than what our trip to to Vegas was cheaper than what our trip to Indy was.
Yeah,
So
I don't know why he
that
went down
stuff,
that road.
I don't care about that.
Except he probably had some media that couldn't make it, and that he doesn't like that.
Vegas is one of the cheapest flights, but I guess in their case, since they would drive to Indy from State College, which to me seems like a long drive.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. I don't want to make it all about that. I just agree with them.
Yeah, his bigger point. I
totally agree with his bigger point.
I would love though for the conference to do something more at the spring meetings. I think that's that period where you're kind of wanting some more information on what's going on, and that would be the perfect way to do it.
So who's at the spring meetings? Is it ADs
and football coaches?
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
So in the SEC, it's a casual environment. Everyone's in Destin. They're in the lobbies and you're talking to people. And then there's like formal press conferences every day at it.
Where would this be at?
Well, this year
in the Big Ten,
it was in Palm Springs, California.
That'd be great.
Be a nice little trip.
That'd be great. I mean, come on, we're talking about readers and listeners that would benefit from that. And that's what Franklin's talking about.
I just wonder how many people would go. That's the difference. Like
media,
like local, national guys would go.
Well, if they opened it up to
coaches,
Rhule and Dannon, I mean,
you'd have to
go. Yeah, you'd have to go.
And they used to, I do remember the Big 12 did those meetings, and I remember like Lee Barfnick would cover it for the World Herald.
I would cover the hell out of it.
And you would go to it, Rob.
Yeah, you just sat in the lobby and waited. We chased Dan Beebe into a elevator because it was like during that whole Big 10 or Big 12
in Kansas
tumult.
City, right?
Yeah. And like he was like a horde of reporters were like chasing him into the elevator, and he was like, no comment.
Interesting.
But yeah, just to have access to all the ADs and coaches for 3 days somewhere would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So James, I think, was not out.
He's
of
on
line.
to something.
Yeah, I don't think he was out of line at all. It was sort of, there was always a part of me that's like, there's a part of me that says, James Franklin, why are you worried about this? I mean, you got a team that's equipped to win the national title. Why are you worried about this bigger picture thing? But what I've found is a lot of head coaches I've dealt with are very big picture oriented. Mm-hmm. I mean, they do look at that stuff.
Yeah.
But then there's others like Bielema who love being in Vegas.
But for himself.
Rekindled the story about meeting his wife. He met her at a casino in Vegas.
Was it Mandalay Bay?
The Rio?
Oh, is it a different one?
Yeah.
Okay.
He didn't want to go into too many details about that. I respect that.
Activities.
But yeah, I'll be interested if this is a one and done deal. And if we move back to, I mean, I know you're against Chicago, but Chicago to me always made more sense than Indy because of the airports.
Let me get this straight. You are for Chicago
because of the airports. I don't want to connect. I want a direct flight. I don't want to have to connect.
That's fair.
I like the Lucas Oil, like doing the thing on the field. Like you feel like, all right, it's football. I'm on a football field talking to football coaches, talking about football. Like that part of it, I like. Yes. It's just the getting to and from Indy for a lot of people, not just us.
Yeah,
like sure, like a lot of people that are around the traditional Big Ten footprint can just drive there.
And like for us though, isn't it like an 11 hour?
Yes, I've done it before. It sucks.
Like driving 11 hours when you work. It's just not. I mean, it screws up everything.
Right, yeah, you're committing 2 full days just to get to Big Ten Media Days.
I like Vegas, but I liked it, but I understand where Franklin's coming from. It's just a personal.
All right. Good discussion. When we come back, we'll open the mailbag. Abby Barmore not with us, so I'm going to do my best to do Abby Barmore's job on the mailbag next. You're listening here to the HuskerOnline Show. Back here on the HuskerOnline Show, Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washed. Again, we're brought to you by Zipline. They're dropping a new beer this Friday. Come on in and try it at any of the Zipline locations. A small batch release of Good Life Golden Ale. Also on Friday in West Lincoln at the Taproom, the Meta Modern BBQ food truck will be there as well for this small batch release. This will not be available in cans. You got to go into the tap rooms and try this new release. Also, reminder, get your tickets for Husker Night at the K. Just checked in with the Royals this week, and tickets are selling by Nebraska fans pretty quickly. In fact, the gift that you can opt into when you purchase your ticket is this windbreaker, a special windbreaker.
Nice.
There's only a few hundred left. So if you want to secure this prize when you come to the game, you need to buy your tickets sooner rather than later. Opt into the gift that you receive, which is this Husker Night of the K windbreaker. It comes in sizes medium and extra large. We've got a link on our show bio here, as well as on the HuskerOnline Red Sea Scrolls message board, that will help you get a discount on your tickets as well as a discount on parking. But act quickly, again, if you want to get that windbreaker, you'll still receive the discounts on the tickets regardless in the parking. But to get access to buy the prize, the Husker prize, which I believe is $15 to add to your ticket, that is also on that link. So hope to see you at Husker Night of the K.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
All right, let's get into
Especially if Alex is there.
the mailbag. Some scheduling questions here on the mailbag. Joey comes in with one. Do you still think pulling out of the Tennessee game was the right move? And again, did Nebraska truly pull out, or did they offer Tennessee an opportunity to schedule down the road, which is the same thing Tennessee did to Nebraska?
I don't know. All I know is that Matt Rhule has been pretty vocal in saying, why play that game?
Yeah. Other coaches had that same sentiment
Right.
at media days.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
Signetti.
yeah. It's like, why we're taking on an SEC schedule model. We're not going to play anybody in the non-con.
Right. Why? And Matt Rhule said, I'm paraphrasing, you'd be crazy to play those sort of games.
But Nebraska is still going to play Oklahoma State, Arizona State, Cincinnati on the schedules. Those have not been removed.
No.
Now, wasn't it the issue like with the home game aspect? Like that was probably the biggest.
The construction.
Construction, yes. So they needed the revenue. They needed another home game.
Right. That's a part of the conversation. That's the Dannon part of the conversation. Rhule has been very vocal about, or pretty vocal about the other side of it too.
But if Nebraska gave Tennessee an opportunity to kick it down the road again, and they said no, it's then Tennessee at fault, because Nebraska agreed to kick it down the road, and they replaced Tennessee with Oregon in 2016 and 2017, because that game was supposed to happen until the Bristol Motor Speedway game.
Indiana was just more blatant about. I mean, Signetti was just blatant in saying, "No, why would we? Let's just mimic the SEC, you know."
And we're going to get into that in our next segment.
Sorry.
As far as what other coaches had to say. Next question from Josh. Is Isaiah moving to running back a sign that the depth Isaiah Mosey lacks, or that no one has stepped up enough for the RB2 job?
What do you think?
I think it's a combination of both. I think they needed another option there, someone that was going to give them a little bit more dynamic skill set. And I think a lot of it is just Mosey. They want to get him on the field. They want the ball in his hands. And that running back, you're inherently going to have more opportunities to be involved in the offense, especially with the way that the running backs are used as receivers under Dana Holgorsen. Like the dramatic spike Emmett Johnson's usage as a receiver happened when Dana Holgorsen took over play calling duties is like undeniable. So like, why not get a guy that can do both? I mean, he rushed for plenty of yards over his high school career. So he's not just like brand new at running back. He wanted to play running back. And this is a guy that you want to get the ball in his hands as much as possible right out of the gate. I think it just made total sense. And I'm sure that, you know, they wanted some more depth. They wanted some more reliable bodies, because Rhule even said, it's like, how many times you go through a season, you're using your third guy, sometimes even your fourth guy.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I think that they know that they needed more depth. They have a guy that can provide that depth and give them a little bit of X factor kind of game breaker.
What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, I just think you need more options. You can't go into the year with just one. I mean, I think when you look at the running back position in this conference, it's not 1994. You're not playing, you know, a limited number of snaps where you can have Eddie George carry the ball 30 times, 25 times. You need multiple guys that can take, you know, a number of carries. So I just think this gives them another option.
Okay, here's the question. Can he challenge for number 2?
Yes, I do think, because I don't know if Ives has shown enough to really, to the point where you're like, you feel really confident, which tells you a newcomer could probably come in and go for it.
Yeah, I think Mekhi Nelson is a guy that will challenge for number 2. Mosey. I just think one critical part of this is that I would add is Mosey wanted to do this. That's prominent in the discussion. So I do think it's some commentary on they feel good about their young depth at the receiver position.
Yeah.
We got a question on the single digits here.
Oh, you guys handle this one.
Do you guys think that Dylan will be in a single digit? And I mean, are people even talking about that anymore? Is it as big of a deal?
Once dudes started giving back their single digits, I stopped caring, to be honest with you. Like, I get what it means and what it represents, like internally, but like from my standpoint, from a fan standpoint, I just don't know if it matters to me. Maybe to some it does, but personally, it's.
Are they still going to do it?
Right. Yeah. I assume they are. But last year, when Jamari Butler handed back number 1,
that's a thing.
And then Vincent Shavers has got to wear number 1 because they swapped jerseys. I mean, that kind of like poured some water on it, a little bit, in my opinion.
Cold water.
It's a nice way to define your player leadership and like reward guys that have done things the right way and like become that type of player driving leader. But in this grand scheme of things, like it's a jersey number. I don't really care that much. And if you're Dylan, like you've branded yourself around 15. Like I know he was one in high school, right? I think so.
I don't know.
He hit a single digit in high school at some point. So like, okay, like if he was going to go back, then he could just do that. But like, I mean, he's 15, like,
right.
And as the quarterback, like you've kind of branded yourself around that.
Well, not only that. So what the question gets at is the most troubling thing is if he doesn't get are we suggesting something negative about Dylan if he doesn't have a single number jersey? I'd say no. That's why you're saying it doesn't matter.
The face of the program.
Right. So if he's not wearing a single digit, is that some kind of sign of trouble?
No,
it's not.
Not at all.
It's not.
And right now on the current roster, 4 of the single digits are already taken up on the updated roster. Vincent Shaver still is a number 1.
Okay.
Marquise Buford in 3, Hartstog in 7, and Deshaun Singleton's in 8. But last year, if you remember, only one offensive player wore single digits.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I don't read too much into that stuff.
It was like, I mean, I think it's a cool tradition and good idea, but I don't think people really got as wrapped up into it after year 2.
It's not like who's a black shirt or not. Like I think there's more vibe around that than there is about
like when Jeff Sims gets a single digit jersey and then he's like not the starting quarterback by week 3. You know, like that was kind of like, okay, this kind of.
Does it feel like a new coach mechanism that to get buy-in, to show the guys? It almost feels like a new coach thing, not an established coach thing.
Yeah,
that's the way I see it.
So we'll see where that goes. All right, time for one more here. Let me make sure. Got any fun ones in here? Did you gamble, Sip, at all?
No, not at all. Not that I'm anti-gambling, but I just didn't. I didn't have a lot of time. You guys, did you have a lot of time?
No, it's a little bit. Like that Friday, their first.
You guys
night
did
we were
gamble.
there.
Well, we bet on some.
We went to the sports book.
We put like $20 bets on baseball games, like just fun stuff. Nothing.
Did pretty well. I didn't realize you guys were so smart about baseball.
I was Sean. He was my tipster.
I went 3-0 on my picks.
I know. I was impressed by that.
I did a parlay though on the spreads, and it was like a 1.5 spread, and the team won, but only won by 1. So the parlay unfortunately didn't hit, but the other 3 straight ups all hit.
Our first night, we both had the Dodgers involved in like some bets, and it came down to the final hit. So that I had Dodgers money line and then Dodgers to cover 1.5 runs. And it came down to a bases loaded shot by Carrera.
Over 400 foot.
Took it all the way to the wall. And they're like, had the out center fielder not caught it, it would have been a game tying grand slam. So we were sweating that one all the way until the final out. Made for a fun little night in the sports book.
Everybody just walked out of that sports book and shook their head because the Dodgers were very fortunate.
There were a lot of Dodger fans that were like almost more upset than they were happy after that one.
Vegas. So I think it's a great place.
I did some blackjack like the first day. They had some $15 tables in Aria. I'm like, okay, I can do this. And I got up. And then some people, a woman sits down at our table.
A cooler.
And she starts putting down like unconventional hits. And everyone at the table just walked away at that point.
What was she putting down?
Oh, just hitting
when you're not supposed to hit,
and staying when you're not supposed to stay, just playing the game wrong. And people the whole table walked away.
Throws off the cards.
And so she threw off the card, and then I'm like, well, then I moved with my winnings over to the $25 table, and of course I lost.
It's okay.
That's how it happens.
It goes quick.
Yeah. Oh, it goes quick.
It goes real quick.
Woo. Yeah.
But it was a good trip in Vegas.
Really good trip. I mean, like I said, I have mixed emotions about what Franklin said because I like it there, but I understand the big picture element that's not perfect for Vegas. In fact, it's imperfect.
All right, when we come back, we're going to get more into what some other Big Ten coaches had to say. You're listening here to the Husker Online Show. Final segment here of the Husker Online Show. Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washut. Again, brought to you by Zipline. Football camp is about to start, and we are into the dog days of the summer. Sadly, Zipline can opener Orange Splash will only be available for about 1 or 2 more weeks. So make sure you grab that in the stores or fill a growler with it while you still can. The good news is late summer and fall beers are right around the corner. The award-winning Fest beer, the German-style beer, will be available everywhere in August, only at Zipline locations. And the massively popular coffee pumpkin porter is also around the corner. It's not pumpkin spice latte. It's rich, though, and it's smooth coffee porter with just a touch of pumpkin and a finish to get you in that campfire spirit. Every drop sold out last year by mid-October, so we're making twice as much this year for folks to enjoy. Thanks to Zipline for sponsoring us here on the Husker Online Show. Guys, I want to close the discussion with some other Big Ten things. Particularly, I want to go to Indiana's Kirk Cignetti and just his comments, because, he did it again a year ago. He did the Google me comment. I win a lot when somebody kind of questioned his background and winning. This year, after making the college football playoff, he kind of got up there and had no problem going at the SEC and definitely drew the biggest headline probably from at least day one.
Saying that they've adopted it, saying very smugly that they've adopted the SEC scheduling model by backing out of they backed out of Virginia series, a 2-game series with Virginia, and put Kennesaw State and another cream puff on their schedule, and he's unapologetic. He cited stats, what the SEC does schedule wise, and then said we've basically adopted the SEC scheduling model. And
what he means by that is 12 of the 16 SEC teams play 3 group of 5 or an FCS game on their schedule. 12 of those teams play 36 games, 29 group of 5 games, and 7 FCS games, one less conference game than the Big Ten.
But there are teams, though, like Georgia, that will play 10 Power 4 games.
Right.
Florida. They'll play their rivalry Power 4 game, and then they'll play like another one.
Right.
So there are teams in the SEC that go above and beyond and play an 8+2, eight conference games plus 2 more Power 4s. But then there are others on the far extreme that might only play 8 games.
I can't be inconsistent in the way I look at this stuff. I'm consistent in saying when you play a Big Ten schedule, I'm very forgiving about the non-conference. You can push it too far, and I believe Indiana's pushing it pretty much to the limit, unapologetically in the head coach's eyes. That's whatever. He's smug. That's his shtick. But I understand where these coaches are coming from. That is a brutal schedule they play in the Big Ten. Their first games out of the gate, I'm telling you, I'm more interested in Indiana's first 3 games than about anything in college football other than Nebraska. Them starting with Illinois and then playing Iowa and Oregon. How do they come out of that? That will tell me almost all I need to know about Indiana, those first 3 games.
Yeah, the other comment Cignetti had to say.
What?
Just his bluntness. He goes, best season in Indiana history, number 1 out of 126.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't hear a lot of coaches.
No, you don't. He's that guy, and that I just wonder how he'll sound if they go 6-6.
Yeah, they were a cute, fun story. The resurrection of Indiana, all that sort of thing, and him doing what he did. But when you're brash like that and you lose, it can flip on you quick.
He's got some Bill Snyder and Mark Mangino in him, though. Both those guys were at basketball schools in Kansas. Kansas State really wasn't necessarily a basketball school, but they scheduled like that, and they built the programs up. And they also weren't very friendly about it when they get Snyder used to get questioned about his schedule every year.
Yeah, that was definitely the Snyder way to do it. That's the way to build. I get it. It's not totally repulsive to me. I mean, I've stated that. What else? What other?
Brett Bielema.
He was awesome.
Yeah, he gets up there and dropped a cuss word on the podium.
An S-bomb. Oh
yeah, he's very good at the podium. Fleck was good. I mean, these guys are pretty skilled at it. All of them are pretty good.
Loxley, what did he say about their locker room?
Well, he lost their locker room. Thanks for bringing that up. I thought Loxley was very
Maryland head coach Mike Loxley.
Yeah, Mike Loxley was revealing and saying, just flat saying, hey, I lost the locker room last year. It's because of money.
Haves and have-nots for the first time.
Yep.
Well, at least publicly.
I appreciate him saying that. I do, because I was saying before all of this NIL and the money component became so integral in college sports. I said it's going to cause problems in the locker room. And I got a lot of pushback from, I can remember an Iowa writer in particular saying, "Do you follow the NFL? They don't have problems in the NFL." And I said that's ridiculous. It's not like the NFL. It's not because not everybody's getting paid. Like it used to drive me crazy when somebody would say that. It's simple. What NFL locker rooms don't have issues. It's way different.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate Loxley saying that. He said, if I have to, I'll put my desk in the locker room this year.
He says they have a new policy now where you can leave your Louis belts, your car keys, and your financial statements outside those doors of the locker room.
What's a
Louis Vuitton?
Oh, thank you.
Louis.
That's the negative when you start paying kids this kind of money. They don't really have a lot of real life expenses. I mean, they're not like having childcare costs,
lots of fun money,
and a mortgage and things like. I mean, they just have money to throw around, and you start seeing guys wearing outfits and things that cost lots of money.
Yeah, and they're not. A lot of them just aren't mature enough to show humility and understand that not everybody's making that money in the locker room, or not. Or there's some guys making money, but not nearly as much as you. So maybe dial it back a little bit for the sake of the team.
Yeah, showing up to practice in luxury sports cars and all that stuff. Like,
right?
I could see how that could cause some friction.
Well, it has in
other teams.
I'm sure everywhere. I mean, this is the first time money has been like publicly introduced into the locker room. And like, I just don't know how, from human nature standpoint, there can't be jealousy and there can't be envy and those types of things that can cause problems, especially when you're not winning.
Well, that's why I appreciate what Loxley said. There were problems.
Yeah. He was an open book.
He lost his locker room, he said. I mean, that was really revealing.
Well, you think about Matt Rhule when they brought in Jeff Sims. I mean, they were heavily invested. And then it didn't work out. And that puts you in a pretty tough spot.
And Matt Rhule, to be clear here, he said it's been a challenge. I mean, himself at Nebraska, it's been a challenge.
When he made reference to one of our highest paid players, didn't even really see the field last year. And a lot of speculation. I was assuming he was probably referencing Tommy Hill at corner.
Oh, I don't know.
Because he's one of their highest paid players. He was a projected potential first round draft pick. And really, after week 2 and 3, didn't really play the rest of the year more than a few snaps.
And was getting paid.
I mean, somebody mentioned Princewell, Umanyalan was another possibility.
That's a possibility. You can't.
But you deal with that. You're going to pay somebody a lot of money that's probably not going to play, and that gets a little awkward for everybody.
You're going to have misses. It's inevitable.
What else? Did any coaches in particular impress you guys? Besides Bielema?
How about Luke Fickell? I mean, I'm not talking about impressive, but like his kind of going against the grain, saying like we're going to be at what he used the word traditional like 7 times during his press conference about how Wisconsin's going to remain a traditional college football program. They're going to recruit high school players and develop players and not kind of go into this, transfer mercenary market.
You know what that tells me? They don't have money.
Yeah. So good luck.
I mean, that's what Iowa State's doing. I mean,
but they're in the Big 12.
But teams that don't have a thriving collective that can help support transfer portal recruiting, that's probably the approach you're going to take.
You guys don't know this. I wouldn't expect you to, but why does Wisconsin not have that kind of money? It's a tradition-laden program.
I don't know.
And you did say at times that's hotbed program
with more population than Nebraska.
Why do they not have a thriving NIL?
It's just different media marketing. I mean, like our site is considerably bigger than anything that covers Wisconsin in terms of the subscribers, the numbers, they just don't. Their fan base doesn't consume it.
They're the Packers. I mean, Packers are the football team of Wisconsin.
Packers are right there too.
Well, you have the Bucks, you have the Brewers.
Yep.
Yeah.
You have Marquette.
Yep.
So there's just a lot more distractions where all the focus at a program like Nebraska is Nebraska.
Well, and you have Wisconsin basketball.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're paying a lot.
Right.
Hockey.
Yep. Wow.
It's just a different market.
God, we're going to go traditional. I mean, it almost sounds like a red flag to me.
I know. I'd be
good
concerned.
luck.
Well, they can't make the offers to the transfer players probably to get them.
Good luck. Good luck with that. We'll see how that goes. Like that almost seems to be one of Nebraska's primary competitors dropping off. It seems beneficial to me.
They're coming off their first losing season since 2001, and now they're going to take on a traditional model going against the grain of the new movement of the sport.
Think about what he's saying compared to what Rhule's saying. We're about to become a great program because a lot of that's a money discussion, right? Where Fickle's up there saying we're going to become a traditional program, Sean thinks that could be they just don't have the money. That's trouble. To me, that's trouble.
Because somebody still then can buy off a player off your roster.
Right. You're going to develop a player, then somebody's going to go buy him.
Yeah. I mean, you still got to pay. It's not about going and getting guys. You got to retain them.
Right.
Roster retention is just as expensive as acquisition.
But maybe Fickle would say, well, we will retain them.
Okay. Maybe that's the way they're going to go.
We're not going to pay him out of the
they're going to spend their money.
Is cheaper than free agent acquisitions. I mean, let's just you might be able to keep a guy for 300.
Right.
Like a big number. I'm just throwing out a big number, but to find that similar player and buy him, it'd be like 500.
Right.
And that's so retention does have value if you can retain guys.
I hope that's what he's talking about for Wisconsin's sake.
But yeah, that lot to chew on. Fall practice players report Sunday. Camp opens Monday. Sip and I will be back with more kind of a fall camp preview headline show.
Okay.
We'll be back Friday. Got to figure out Flashback Friday still, Sip. We'll figure that out here after the show. But for Robin Washett, Steve Sipple, I'm Sean Callahan signing off here for another edition of the Husker Online Show.